Happy birthday, Dale. January 1st. I remember it well. It was your birthday, and I think it's number 75, and I'm not far behind you. So want to wish you several wishes, actually. Happy birthday, and you're lucky. You also get a Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas. So Kara has asked me to talk a little bit about our ornery days at Pasadena College. Now, we got into a lot of mischief, but I want to say it was good natured mischief and it was a lot of fun, and we never did anything that was really that bad. But one of my earliest memories of you and I and our relationship was our freshman year. And being normal freshman guys, we would get a little restless at times. And you were one of the few that had a car. And I remember well, it was that 64 MGB. And I was very impressed and influenced by a two-seater. And so I went out not too long after that, maybe a year or so, and I bought an MGB, if you remember. And only on mine, the MGB stood for Mr. Gerald Beerley. So I had a personalized car, you know. I mean, I had one up on you. But anyway, I remember your MG went from green, I think, to yellow or orange or something like that, but you painted it. But anyway, what I wanted to tell you was that we got a little restless, so we decided to get in that your little MG, and we were just going to head out, go up the coast, go up somewhere, any place in the state, you know, north, going north. And so we, being young and green and wet behind the ears, we took off with enough money to buy a couple of burgers and fries, and that was about it. And we had a sleeping bag. Remember, we had the sleeping bags, and that was it. So as we drove up and got a little ways, amazing thing happened. It got dark. And we looked at each other and said, where in the heck are we going to sleep? And we had no clue because we didn't have enough money for a hotel. So we drove and drove, and finally we saw a roadside park, and by now it's pitch dark. And this roadside park had picnic tables. And so we said, well, at least it's a roof over our heads. So we threw out our sleeping bags, put them down under these picnic tables. Now, we tried to do our best to sleep, and we passed the night. And as we woke up at the crack of dawn, we started talking to each other. And I think you said to me, you said, man, said, you slept like a rock. You slept like a log all night. He said, every time I woke up, Dale said, you were just sound asleep. And I said, what are you talking about? I said, I woke up multiple times and looked at you, and you were sleeping sound as a rock. And so we kind of had a little debate about that. But anyway, we got in the car, took off for lands unknown. And we're driving along, and it's a little bit daylight now. And we're both half asleep still, just doing small talk and everything, and not really paying a lot of attention, just driving. And I happen to notice you're driving, and I happen to notice in my peripheral vision on the right is this unmistakable black fender with a pusher bumper on the front of it. And it was a CHP, California Highway Patrol. And he was moving in right beside us, tracking our speed. And sure enough, he dropped back, turned on his lights, pulled us over, and you were not too happy, of course, and you kind of took issue with even being pulled over because I think I remember you were doing like 72 in a 65. It was 65 in those days. So you started talking to the cop and give him a little bit of piece of your mind. And the last line that I heard the cop say was that I remember was, well, okay, if that's the way you're going to be, we'll put the cuffs on you and we'll take you down to the station and we'll talk about it. And you said, no, I don't think so. And I'm sure you remember the screaming sirens out the baseball bus windows. Remember that, how we'd stop traffic. And then I also remember the dorm demons of Classen. Now, you were the star of the show with your announcement every night at midnight. And then I think it was Daryl Hamilton was had a trumpet there, and he played taps at midnight, and it went all over the campus. And even some of the freshman girls in the other side of the campus used to wait up to midnight to listen for Dale Black and his dorm demon of class and his taps at midnight. I'm not sure some of the guys in the dorm appreciated that had a first period class though at 7 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, what about the Kern River raft trip? Remember that one where you ended up going over the falls? And my goodness, I won't fill in any blanks on that. That's one that kind of maybe we could forget. Anyway, and I remember the mask. Remember the masks caper that we went out with the masks? I mean, talk about not too smart. Walking into a restaurant and, with these masks on, you'd probably get shot today. But the crazy thing about it, we had enough, whatever you want to call it, just innocence to walk into a restaurant, and there was a couple of cops sitting there. You remember that? And they sure enough saw us, and the one cop had his gun by his side, not pointed at us. But anyway, they questioned us and realized that we weren't really up to anything serious, and they let us go. But you probably remember that too. But anyway, once again, you and Paul are dear friends, and I miss your podcasts. Have not been seeing those podcasts lately. So I miss those. But I'll conclude here by just telling you that you are looking at, I know you've got a lot of metal in you and a lot of, how do you want to call it, stitches, new body parts or whatever. And I'm going to take you on there because I've got 2 knee replacements. I've got 2 teeth implants, and I've got 2 cataracts replacements and a partridge in a pear tree. So, I've done it all. So it's not much fun getting old, but you know what? It beats the other options. And I'm glad you're still here and going to be 75. And, it's been great knowing you and having all these wonderful memories. So I'm going to sign off with you and Paula, and you're a dear friend. And we started out together, at the very beginning of our college career there. You were one of the first friends, and Dave Downey, and then Larry Fox. I guess he's no longer with us, but I was sad to hear about that. So anyway, Kara, I'm going to turn it back over to you. So we'll sign off and wish you guys the best. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and happy 75th.
Okay. Well, why don't you start?
Happy birthday is where we're going to start.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes. Happy birthday, Dale.
New Year's Day. That's awesome.
Go ahead and tell your stories of elementary school.
Stories of elementary. Well, Dale and I go way back to Patrick Henry Elementary, and a lot of good times we had. But one of the things that sticks in my brain is we used to meet up with each other before school, and we'd trade clothes. I don't know if it was shoes or shirts or
Levi's. Decked out Levi's.
I don't know about that. But yeah, we would just trade clothes. And I don't know if I saw what he had and I liked it, or he saw what I had and he liked it, or we were just goofing around, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. And by the time we got to 6th grade, still friends, we both liked the same girl, Mary Adams. But it was always good. We were never, competing, I don't think, too much, but we both liked the same girl and wanted to walk her home after school and yeah, stuff like that. And then I went to John Marshall Junior High and he went to DeMille, and so we basically separated at that point.
And they moved too.
I don't know when or where that was. After 7th grade. Yeah, we definitely lost contact then. And Cindy picked up somewhere in there, but I don't know if it was junior high or high school.
It was church. It was 9th grade, And I was in the same youth group as Dale because my very best friend went to First Church the Nazarene. And I was a little Baptist girl. And Chris and I said, she said, Cindy, come with me. I know you're going to know a lot of people. And so there I went, and I got all involved and remember Dale from elementary school. And we just became really good friends. And, he was just my brother in Christ, and I loved him to death. And um, we just had a lot of fun together. I mean, he's crazy. He was really into flying, which I love flying too. And we'd go like on Friday night, we'd just go grab a hamburger and then go to LAX and actually walk right into the control tower. He'd put on a hat, he'd put on some kind of official looking little badge and button, and he'd go in and just chat with them about the weather and all the flights coming in. And I was a special guest, and no TSA, nothing like that. And there we were in the control tower doing all this stuff. And this was just the love of his life, flying. He knew he was going to fly someday, and particularly down to Mexico or, South America. And I always knew about that goal. And then he had his accident, and we just hung out during that time. And I can't believe how he got so well so fast. I mean, casts on his legs, and he just went in the pool like nobody's business. And he'd hey Cindy, stick this ruler down my leg and scratch it for me. And I mean, it was just crazy, the whole healing process of it all. Well, the interesting thing about it, once he got well, he still was going to keep flying and taking flying lessons, unbeknownst to me and unbeknownst to his mom and dad. Now, how I became involved is he told his parents that he was taking me out to lunch every Sunday after church, which was true, but it also included a flight lesson. And so I went with your dad on pretty much all of his flights on Sundays. And, that was a thrill, the engine stalling and doing all the things that you do when you have to learn how to fly a plane. And I can't remember his instructor's name. It seems to me it was Rafe. I can't remember it though, but he was a Christian pastor, and which surprised Dale and I. Really a nice guy, but never talked about his faith. And we went to church one Sunday and heard him teach, and that was very sweet. But anyway, back to the story. We went over to his house one night for dinner, and he said, Cindy, Mom and Dad don't know about what we do on Sundays. They think we're just going out to lunch. Oh, okay. So here I am stuck in the middle of this. And anyway, the rest is history. He went on to fly big time, and it was just amazing. And just, I had the really fun part of his life. I had the accident was a miracle that he lived. And just, he was so young when all that took place, and God was so good, and it just cemented in his life his plans. And anyway, and then I think he went off to college. He went to the Nazarene College up in Pasadena, I believe, and that's where he met your mom. And Mike and I were at Long Beach City College, and that's where Mike and we met, and the rest is history for us. And then we just kind of shared some Dale Black stories all along throughout our married life, which has been, 53 years?
Yeah.
And here we are wishing Dale happy birthday, 75 years. So the little song that I'd like to sing is, happy birthday to you, and to Jesus be true. May the Lord's richest blessings abide upon you. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday, guy.